Good morning, everyone. Chill Girl Chrissy here, Alderman in Ward 6, and I am super excited. We are here to fuel your mind, body, and soul with goodness. A lot of smackdown truths, a lot of just greatness, and I am sitting next to Anthony Henry, who is only 16 years old, and a year ago he interviewed me, and I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm actually like super shy, and I was so nervous to be on your show, and I can't say enough great things about him. And welcome, Anthony.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. This is like so unbelievable. And you started your show how long ago?
April of 2023 was when March technically, but nothing came out till April, and yeah, I've just kept going. I've interviewed people on both sides. I've had
When you say both sides, you're talking about Republican and Democrats?
Yes.
Okay.
I am a Republican personally, but I'll talk to anyone on the show about anything.
Okay, and you were only 15. You couldn't even drive to the studio
At that time.
at that time when you interviewed me, and I'll
Yeah.
release that later this week again. You're really impressive. So
Thank you.
I want one of the smartest guys I know. I'm really really impressed. I met you because you were sitting next to each other at the Governor DeSantis's presidential dinner in Manchester. That's when I first met you with Kim Abear. It was her table. So I have to ask, you're 16 years old. You were able to drive yourself here today, so thank you. And you work, you go to school, and you're on the school board too, right?
Yes, I'm the student member of the school board in Derry, where I live. We've had a lot of interesting stuff go on at the school board. Recently, I just made another leap. I don't know if Manchester has a budget committee in their school district. We have something called a fiscal advisory committee. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing, but you're appointed by the school board, and you don't get to vote on anything. You're just advisory, but I realized that there was a loophole in it. The only requirement was that you live in Derry. There was no age requirement, so I applied, and I got on a 6-1 vote.
So impressive. So impressive. Oh my God. So did you were you born just wicked smart? Like, when did you first start talking? I mean, I just kind of I know we only have a half-hour show, but when did you, when did you know you had this like special gift of connecting with people, with knowing so much, with the truth and seeing things for what they really are?
Well, I've always kind of been like that. I think whether it be politics or anything else, just talking to people is important, I think.
I totally
But
agree.
when it comes to politics, I first got involved during COVID. That was a very heightened political atmosphere on all ends.
Yeah. And how old were you in March of 2020?
I was in 6th grade.
Sixth grade.
I wasn't completely involved
13?
then.
Is that 13 years old?
Around that, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to remember back.
I wasn't quite involved then, but that was when I started paying attention, because
13 years old and you're paying attention.
that was 2020. Not only
Yeah.
was it COVID, it was an election year
Yes.
between Trump and Biden. And there was just a lot going on, so I followed. And especially in a state like New Hampshire, it's easy to follow this stuff because it's readily available. And obviously the election happened, all the fallout from that, COVID continued, and eventually I started to try to fight the mandates, because at the time we had I believe it was a 5-2 Democrat majority on the school board at that time, and they were COVID crazy. It was, even though there was 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans, 6 of them voted for all the mandates.
And all the mandates were
Bogus.
bogus, okay? So that was mask mandates. What was that? What did that look like?
We were masked until February of 2022.
February of 2022. Holy moly. Was that the same as Manchester?
I believe Manchester was a few weeks earlier than Derry, actually.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
I was furious. I'm like, stop masking the children.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that people can be out in bars drinking, you can do all of these things, and you're masking the children and the teachers. I mean, it was just completely bogus.
I spoke
and
at
we all know how unhealthy
school
the
board
masks
meetings.
are for
Yeah.
us, you know?
Yeah, I spoke at a few
Science
school board
says
meetings
so.
about this. Yep, yeah.
So you at, oh my gosh, so you went and spoke at the school board. How old were you at that time?
Well,
Fighting the mandates.
I spoke
Impressive.
I spoke a few times. The first time I spoke was 7th grade, I believe.
Wow.
I spoke like twice in 7th grade and once in 8th grade. And all the other times I just watch. Because in my opinion, watching oftentimes is much more important than listening. No, speaking, I mean. Watching is more important than speaking. Because it's the people that watch that are the ones that pay attention. And the quiet one in the corner, they always get the most information. So I tried that. I only spoke when I felt really necessary.
When you were called to speak, you felt called to speak.
Yes, and I actually spoke at the last meeting that we had mask mandates.
And do you recall what you shared?
Well, I shared that a teacher called a student a terrorist for having their mask down. And that seemed to upset the school board quite a bit. And then 4 days later, they were like, no more masks. So
Wow.
that was convenient. And yeah, after that, though, stuff died down. It wasn't all the culture war stuff anymore. And I realized I should probably still pay attention, even though a lot of this stuff might end up boring. And I did. I kept going to every meeting, even if it was incredibly dull,
And
if it was a
how
waste of my
how
time.
did you get to these meetings? Because you're only a kid.
My parents would bring me.
Yeah.
Other people would bring me. Occasionally, I'd, be out and about, and I'd just walk there, and then get a ride home from someone.
Okay. Now, are your parents outspoken?
Yes, but they're not involved like me.
Okay.
They watch the news. They're on Facebook complaining. But in
Okay.
my opinion, it's the people that actually get out and do something that make a difference.
So you're like, that's it,
Yeah, and
I've got to speak up. And when you did speak up, things started to change.
yeah, and when I reached the end of my freshman year in high school, the opening for the student member came up. So I put my name in for that.
And what is that?
The
that you're talking
student
about?
member of the board, the school
Oh, the
board.
student member of the board of the school board
Yes.
in Derry.
Yes, and that position came open. I decided to run. I won fairly easily against 2 other people. I was reelected at the end of my sophomore year, again against 2 other people. I don't know if I'll run a 3rd time, but I will say I'm giving some serious thought into the real board itself in 2026. That will be March of 2026. I'll be 18, senior year of high school. That's not quite confirmed yet, though, but I am thinking about
You're
that.
thinking about it. But you're like dedicated to your studies at Pinkerton and your part-time job. Okay. And what do you do as your part-time job?
Well, I'm a dishwasher. It's not the most glorious job, but I really like it there. I work at Cask and Vine. It's on Broadway in Derry. Great little restaurant. I enjoy it there.
All right, I have to check it out.
Yeah,
I don't
come
go
by.
to Derry very often. So what is it called again?
Cask and Vine.
Cask and Vine. That sounds great. So, it really is about hard work, rolling up our sleeves. And you were literally rolling up your sleeves to do dishes, but then you're in a studio like this in Derry speaking to, let's name some of the people that you've connected with and you have interviewed.
Well, I'll start with Manchester. I've
Yeah.
had you, Alderman Lavasser. I'm sure a lot of you know him.
Yes.
I've had Representative Cole.
Yes, Brian Cole.
On the other side of the aisle, I've had Jim O'Connell, who he was the first Democrat I ever interviewed. Another notable Democrat would be Jonah Wheeler. He gained a lot of attention for some of his votes last year. Very, very smart guy. I've had a lot of people on my show. So Valerie McDonnell, she was great. Jess Edwards.
And she's the youngest.
Yes.
Youngest state rep.
For now.
For now.
We got-
Oh,
we
youngest
got-
state rep. I love it. She is really.
I have some friends running.
Okay, you have some friends.
that are 18. So we'll see if they
Got
get
it.
in. But right now, she is the youngest. She was great.
Yeah, she's on fire. She has really American values. Just
Yeah.
great girl.
I've had countless other state reps. Jess Edwards, he was very, very smart on the show. A lot of my reps in Derry, Erica Leon, David Love, Richard Tripp. I've had so many, and we got a lot planned from now until election season. We got a lot planned.
So when did you know that you were a Republican? At what stage in your life? I mean, you're only 16 years old. You just got your license, like, how long ago?
May.
In May. I graduated in 1988. I wasn't thinking politics then. I mean, but now we are living in history of
And I think
insanity, and it's like we got to take back our country. So I'm like so grateful that, are you one of 1,000 or are you one of like 100? How many more are you getting more people your age engaged?
Well, I am one of the founders of New Hampshire High School Republicans. I was able to start that. We chartered from a national organization. I started the New Hampshire charter with a few other people. I was vice chair for a month, and then when the chairman decided to run for state rep, I took over as chair. We have members all over the state right now. We're hovering at around, for the club itself, 25 members.
Excellent.
We're aiming to, go a lot bigger than that to rival New Hampshire high school Democrats. Mm-hmm. And
what are your values on, when we say we're Republicans, what does that mean? Because there's conservatives, and then there's in the middle. Like, where are your values land? I
find myself to be a conservative Republican with a bit of a libertarian edge. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it's kind of simple as that. If you have some
so the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
Let's
I tell the truth.
Freedom to be you, freedom to be me.
Yeah.
Less government.
Yeah.
More freedom.
I take the side of the freedom in the Constitution, whether it benefits Republicans or not.
Amen.
It's
really the all-American way.
Yeah.
That's what it really is.
And that's part of why I like local politics best.
Yeah.
There's much more room to forget party and just work. I find that the State House and, to a much greater extent, Congress, it's all games. It's all showy for TV. There's not a lot of actual work getting done, in my eyes. And that's not to discount all the people that are actually working really hard. But, I mean, at the local level, that's where all the big decisions are being made that impact you the most. And you know that as a local official.
Totally.
I know that.
And that's why I appreciate you, at such a young age, going and speaking at these board so that they see what's really going on. Because I always say, hey, your voice matters, and the only way we're going to be able to make change is if you come and speak at the alderman meetings, at the school board meetings. We can't stay silent anymore.
Yeah.
This is insanity what's going on.
Yeah.
Boys should not be in girls' locker rooms. Boys should not be in girls' sports. I mean, enough is enough. Give me a break. Let's follow the real science.
I'll start getting into some dairy stuff now.
Yep.
So I'll cover our town council quickly first. We
Okay.
have an excellent town council. We have a 7-member council. It's a little different than Manchester. We have 4 districts. We call them districts instead of wards, and then 3 at large
Okay.
instead of 12 and 2. So we have, all 7 of them are excellent. Well, we have 5 Republicans, 1 Democrat, 1 independent. They're all excellent people. I've endorsed all 7 of them in the past.
That's awesome.
They're great people. I hope they stay forever, although I know a couple of them are retiring soon. But they've done excellent on the town council. They work hard for the people of Derry. School board, it's definitely changed since COVID a lot. I believe there's only 2 members still on there from COVID. 1 Democrat, 1 Republican. So last year is when we had a lot of controversy. We had much different controversy. It wasn't really a Republican-Democrat thing. It was just 2 schools of thought within the town thing, I'll say. So we had this block of 6 board members at that time. 5 of them were Democrats, 1 was a Republican. Very moderate Republican, but still a Republican. And the 6 of them, that was 6 out of the 7 members, they decided that they wanted to cut the budget. And at first that's like, oh great, fiscal conservatism. But they wanted to close a school to do that. that angered many people in the town because the school that they decided to close it had been open since the late 60s. A lot of students there, and it made a lot of people sad. It was a great school, and they voted to close it 6-1. We had one member say no, Brenda Willis. She's a Republican. She's a former state rep. She's been on the school board for 24 years.
Wow.
Which is a long time for anyone. And she fought tooth and nail to keep that school open. It didn't end up happening, but she's one of my role models in Derry. I'll say that. She fights very hard.
You know what? I love when you believe in something and you fight for it.
Yeah.
No matter what. I think that is the beauty of being American.
Yeah.
Is to be able to fight for something that you believe in.
And it continued. About a month later, the school, those 6 members decided they wanted to go even further. They wanted to close a second school.
Oh, wow.
While simultaneously building a new one for $72 million.
What?
And if that school had been passed, and no, it did not, and I'll get into that.
That's like
Would've-
insanity. You're like closing a school to save money, but
Closing
then you're going
two.
to closing 2 schools, but then you're going to spend $72 million.
And that school would have had a projected $700 a year increase on the school tax rate for 15 years. So that would be 700, 700, 700. And it would have priced so many people out of Derry, and it
Taxing them out of their homes.
and it would have scared off a lot of people that wanted to move here. Wow. Luckily, however, the second school closure and the school opening, because it was that much money, that had to go on the ballot. That Warren article was defeated 600 to 2,400.
Wow.
They got crushed. There was a couple other the budget failed. That's another thing that's unique about Derry. The voters vote on the school budget. Just
Interesting.
not the town budget, the school budget.
The school budget, huh?
The budget failed for the first time in 25 years. Wow. The repairs, which we actually needed the repairs, that failed as well.
Really?
And there was a citizens petition to overturn the closure of Derry Village.
Yeah.
I believe that was 1,700 yes, 1,100 no. At the next meeting, that came up, and the board voted 4-3 not to go forward with the citizens petition, which I find to be borderline tyrannical, because that's casting aside the voters. And I say 4-3 because 2 of those Democrats that of those 6, neither of them ran again, and we ran 2 incredible people. 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, a bipartisan ticket.
Yeah.
Katie DeLay, she's a super mom. She's a mom of 3 kids. She went to every meeting for 2 years, and she brought her small children with her. She was fighting at every meeting. She was awesome. I was very happy she won. And the other person, who I actually met at Trump headquarters when I was there with you in January,
Yeah.
Wilbert Danger, soon to be Dr. Wilbert Danger, immigrant from Haiti, came here and built a nonprofit to help children in Haiti. He rebuilt the schools when the big Haitian earthquake happened.
Oh, really?
He's a teacher, a minister, nonprofit worker. He's wrote 2 books, and he's about to get his doctorate in education. If that doesn't sound like a qualified school board member, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
And first black person ever elected to an elected office in Derry history.
Really?
And we got both of them on the board. It is now 4-3, so they still have the majority.
Yeah. Sounds like an incredible board.
We're hoping to flip in March. That's our next election. We have Brenda, who I mentioned. I don't think she's running again. I think she's going to be retiring. Just my prediction. Maybe she will run again. And then we have 2 Democrats that are up. And I don't know if either of them are running again yet. But we have 3 seats. If we get 2 of those 3 seats, then we have flipped the school board. And that's what I'm going to be working hard toward. And it's not all culture war stuff. I think that's the point I'm trying to get across. There's a lot of stuff like this. The news will never cover it because it's not exciting, but it matters.
It matters.
That's why I think local politics is most important in my eyes.
And you're sharing it and you're exposing it and I love that you're just open. You're open to Republican, Democrat. It's really about the issue.
Yeah.
And it's really about the people So for you to call out the elected officials that disregarded what the people wanted, that's pretty
That was the vote
impressive.
that made me think I might want to run.
Yeah.
Because if any government body of any kind is disavowing something that the public voted on, something that the public wants their elected officials that
Yeah.
they own, the
Yeah.
public owns those elected officials. The public is the boss of them.
That's right. So when we
And-
say we're going to, cut taxes, we need to cut taxes. We don't need to increase taxes. If we're elected running on certain things, we have to stand up and do those things no matter what. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And so even though I'm a Republican, but I'm like, all right, well, what's the issue?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the issue and what's best for our community. And that is you. And that's why we need to hear from you. With the rezoning that's going on in Manchester, they act like, oh, nothing's a big deal in Ward 6. I'm like, actually, it is a big deal in Ward 6. What they want to do is make Hanover Street and Candia Road all business. And it's not business. Right now, it's variance. Like my building is under variance to have a salon. If that happened, you could sell your land to a big corporation,
Yeah.
whatever.
I think
a
across-
drugstore, a homeless shelter, whatever. And all of a sudden, the little neighborhoods change. It's like you're way too young, but in South Willow Street, it used to be lots of homes.
Yeah.
Now it's major. It's a lot. It takes a long time to get all the way from the beginning of South Willow to the end of South Willow. So we really need to dissect what is being proposed for the rezoning in Manchester, because it will affect us. And you have to decide, is it good for us or is it not good for us? And who is it best for? Because I know that protecting our neighborhoods is a priority for me, and it's a priority for my constituents, and they're speaking up. And we need to create community. And talking about community, I believe in bringing people together, and we actually have 2 amazing events. Giddy Up for Prostate Cancer, and it's tonight from 6 to 9, Arms Park. Stark Brewery and the Shakers. And, we're all affected by so many different cancers, and coming together, music, good food, cheer, and, the importance of testing and so forth. But most important is connecting with people. That is the most important thing, is loving our community, connecting, having good conversations. And that's why I really respect and admire you at such a young age. You're strong in your beliefs, but you're also open to going, just because that person's a Democrat, we say, oh, Democrat, Republican. No, it's not a Democrat and Republican issue. We have issues that affect all Americans and all of us, and it starts local. And to be so young and to be so outspoken and to be so open is really, really impressive. And where can we find you on your show? I wasn't even sure if I could say the word. Your show is called
America's Ass.
America's Ass.
Yes.
And I had to double check to make sure I could say that.
So background to that, I
Yes.
was having lunch with my friend and his liberal girlfriend, and she called me that. And at the time, I was developing my show, and I was trying to think of a name, and I remembered that. So I made it the name of my show, and it's stuck. Everyone loves it. But you can find it on YouTube, America's Ass with Anthony Henry. Just type that in, and it'll pop up. And if you live in Derry, we're on Derry TV, our public access at, I believe, 4 or 5 p.m. every Saturday.
Which is so amazing. So you definitely have to check him out. I'm going to share my interview from a year ago that you interviewed me, and I was super nervous, and you made it so chill, and I really appreciated that.
Well, it's not just me. The staff at Derry Cam's incredible.
Yes.
We have...
They are.
I love this Manchester studio. It's awesome, but
You love your Derry's. Hey, isn't
Derry's,
that? Yeah.
Derry's my home. Owen
get it.
Preventure is our director. He's the man. We all love Owen, and his staff is incredible. They make anyone who's never been on TV before. They make it all so easy for the guests. They describe everything that's going on to the detail. I mean,
That is so awesome.
It's the studio that makes it the
That's so
experience
great.
well.
Well, I think it's a blend of the studio, loving our cities, our towns that we come from, and being able to get in front of the camera. Did you know that you were a natural?
I've been told that I have a good screen presence and voice presence, but I don't
Yeah.
really try. I just kind of be me.
And see,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. Your authenticity. 16 years old. I mean, my goodness. So America's ass.
Yep.
Check out Anthony Henry. And, I know you're not going to make it because you're going to be washing dishes. Really, it's really so impressive to see you're such a young guy. Your parents must be so impressed.
They are.
Do they tell you to still make your bed?
I do that on my own.
You do that on your own. That's awesome. And there's a book. I have to call out my friend Camille Crafty, who's an amazing woman. She shared a book. The book is something about the first thing to do is make your bed. That's the most important thing. I'll have to remember that book's name. I can't remember. What is it called? Anyways, lots of bloopers on Chill and Heal. And then next week, sold out show band. It is we had to cancel last week, and I so appreciate Brendan and Jason and everyone at MCTV. They went down to video us, but we had to cancel. But we will be back next Thursday for the sold out show band at Stark Brewing Company. We are really blessed to have public access TV, and I just want to say thank you to Brendan, Jason, all of Manchester, Anthony. It's so awesome, and Derry for having this young gentleman on to share the good news that it's important to speak up.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, and tune in to check out Anthony Henry. And till next time, stay chill. Love one another, connect. Yes, have those tough conversations. It might feel a little uncomfortable, but I'm sure we're going to agree more than we disagree. God bless you, and maybe I will see you at the Giddy Up for Prostate Cancer tonight. It's a free concert. Stay chill and giddy up. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.